Hello, hello, hello to all of my educators, my stakeholders, to all of the adjunct instructors, K through 12 educators, full-time tenure instructors, full-time staff, part-time staff, administrators, superintendents, presidents, department chairs, on and on and on. Thank you all so much for attending the very first lecture that we're having within this course entitled, of course, Educators PR Training Ground. Now, right now, we're going to go over a few pieces of information that I'm sure you guys have had a chance to review within Module 1, which is the PR Newbie module. And I named it that particular module due to the simple fact that, hey, you guys are all PR newbies, and the reason why that we need to have this training is that, as we can see with COVID-19, um, we are in a unprecedented, uncharted area. And so the best way to make sure that your educational institution remains the beacon of light and hope that it is, because everyone has to go to school. Educators birth other careers, education births other careers and other career fields. You want to make sure that during this time where we do have outbreaks at our educational institution, that's something unfortunately that we necessarily, I'm not going to say can control, that we can't, but it's something that, again, we're navigating within the COVID-19 pandemic. We are seeing changes to several different policies that we have within our educational institution on what we can do, what we can't do, when we're able to physically go to work, how we're able to instruct our students, and it's been difficult. And I can just speak for an example of myself with being an adjunct instructor at Watts Community College, Selma, that even we have been tasked to do tracing to make sure that if we have COVID-19, we have to report that to our supervisors. If a student comes to us and say, Ms. Williams, I've been diagnosed with COVID-19, we have to get all this information and send it to our supervisor, and they have to send it to their supervisor, so on and so forth, within the Alabama Community College system, again, to do tracking, because the thing is, we're trying to stop this spread. And so now is a better time than any to understand how public relations goes into the part of making sure that our educational institution stays relatively scandal free. And if something does happen, we're able to navigate that even when this virus is over and is lifted from the earth. So right now, as you can see, here's the module overviews, and here are the materials that I hope you guys had a chance to go over. And also here's the media that is being presented. And again, this will give you guys a good example on what PR does, what it is, and necessarily what it can't do, or what happens if you use it in a negative way. Now, Module 1 states that educators will cover the basics of public relations techniques and terminology. Public relations concepts and how to implement them will be covered within this module. Some of the objectives are understanding and defining basic PR terminology, how PR tactics and damage control are utilized during scandals, and also the definition of specific PR tactics. Now, of course, I could bounce around and, show you things from chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, but I'm just going to mainly focus on chapter 1 within this demo course. And I've already provided a PowerPoint presentation, and I'm going to get ready to show you all. And let me go ahead and expand my screen. So I want to make sure everyone can see this. Let me go back. Okay, so as you guys can see, you are within this particular, and adjust it again, um, PowerPoint presentation. And so really quickly, just to kind of go back to what we went over, I'm making sure that everything can be clicked off and on, is that what is the deal with PR? That is our presentation for today. And so what is public relations? Just going ahead and jumping into it. No segue, no formalities. We're going to go ahead and jump into it. PR is a shortened form of the words public relations. It's normally one word together. Public relations, these things go together. What is public relations? Now, Google states that it's defined as a professional maintenance of a favorable public image by a company or other organization or a famous person. Now, I want you guys to kind of get in mind your favorite famous actress, actor, singer, entertainer, politician, news anchor, anyone that you just adore, that you are a fan of their work within the public eye. And I want you to think about the first word that their image evokes in your mind. If it's Beyonce, you may think that she's stellar. She may be considered a stellar entertainer. If it's Michael Jackson, you can think, oh my gosh, this guy was brilliant, but he was a bit convoluted. If it's the late Chadwick Boseman, you may think, oh, well, he had a very humble image. There are people that have worked with each of those individuals to make sure that the image that we saw, that we associated with their name and their likeness, is invoked in those words you just thought about and in those words I just mentioned. And so when it comes to institutions, because it's not so much a person, I want to kind of point this out that when it comes to a person, they are considered as their own business. And when it comes to a business, you have one person that is the face of that business. So it's kind of a flip-floppy type thing. But in education, educational institutions' reputation, it relies on the public's perceptions of said institution. And so you launch various campaigns and advertisements and they're used to garner a positive image of the educational institution that you are an employee of. Now, we all know the inner mechanics of what goes on within our own institutions that of course we would never share in public, but we also know the image as well. And so when it comes to PR, there are a lot of PR techniques that are commonly used and some terminology we're going to go over within this particular presentation. And one of the things you have to learn is reputation. Think about the image. This is an aimed at improving how a company or nonprofit organization is perceived by its public. What is your image? What reputation do you have? You can think about several different companies such as BP, Exxon, who have stellar reputations, but they've been marked by scandal, and that did ruin their image for a time. So their reputation did take a hit. One of the things you have to mention that when it comes to reputation, that does not mean just because you have a widespread reputation or seen as having a stellar image, it's a stellar company that you're working for, or it's a stellar company, period. The reason being is due to bandwagoning. What is bandwagoning? It's audiences that are encouraged basically to have a certain behavior because everyone else is doing it, right? We all heard that saying from our parents: is, your friend did so and so, would you go do it? That's what bandwagoning is. It doesn't make something better because more people think you should do it or more people think you should buy this type of soft drink in your home or eat this type of food. It doesn't make it any better or any worse because more people are for or against it. It just, it's a perception that, for instance, if, and I'm going to use this as an example, everyone decides, hey, I'm going to the University of Alabama. I'm a two-time alumni of the University of Alabama and won Iron Bowl, so roll tide roll. But for some people, that doesn't mean that Alabama is a better school just because we recently beat Auburn. And of course, with me being a student within Auburn University in Montgomery, I think both are great schools. I just happen to roll tide. We're going to roll with the tide. But just because everyone else is doing it or everyone else likes this celebrity, everyone else is buying this type of food, or everyone else is going to this organization, that doesn't mean it's better. It just means that it seems like everyone else is doing it. Euphemisms is another term. It's a term intended to obscure or soften the true meaning of behaviors, which means what sounds better? If there was a scandal that were to hit your educational institution, would it sound better to say, hey, look, somebody messed up and they did it on purpose? Or does it sound better to say, unfortunately, we did have a disgruntled employee make several mistakes and this has been rectified, and we assure the public that what this particular employee did, X, Y, and Z, will not happen again, and we made sure to basically solve this issue. And we just want to reassure our stakeholders that this issue has been resolved. Second sentence, the second statement sounds so much better to say, look, we blame it on this employee because they're mad, X, Y, and Z happened, that's why they did this disgusting thing. We've seen recently, I think it was a employee in Tallapoosa or Tallahassee schools here in Alabama. Somehow he took over the Facebook account for that particular school system that he was recently fired from and put up some disgusting images. And so none of the administrators knew. They had to shut things down real quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I forgot the statement that they made, but the fact that they just admitted they were unaware and that they were trying to fix it. That doesn't sound too good. Versus if you say, we see this mistake being made, we have disciplined this employee, they've already been fired, or this disciplinary action will take place, and such and such, and this is kind of where we are now. So